You've tuned into It's About Business. My name is Shannon, and I have Bryan Slusarchuk, the Chief Executive Officer of Tirex Resources, with me today. Hi, Bryan. How you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me on.
Good. We talk about mining every week, and I want to go back into the Tirex story a little bit and talk about. You've made mention of finding the Holy Grail. You know, really finding that core that opened it right up. What was that like? Because that's kind of something that everybody wants to do in your business.
Well, the initial aim of going into a place like Albania, Shannon, was we knew off of the bat, right off of the start of the program, that this was a rich, historically prolific mining region. The country had been completely closed off for 40 years, so we really didn't know as to specifics with regards to the mineralization. We knew that they, on our property, had found 17 historical deposits. We knew that 9 of them were producing mines. We knew that there was a really extensive forced labor prison camp system of mining put in within this region. So we knew the mineralization was significant. This had been a rich copper-producing region. When we went to Albania, we were originally attracted due to the copper, but when we drilled our first hole in Albania, and we got a big, thick intercept, 65 meters of core length, about 35 meters of true width, we ended up not only with 0.6% copper and 9% zinc, but we ended up with 48 grams plus per ton of silver in that hole, 2.7 grams per ton gold. So right out of the gate, we were amazed with the precious metal content, the gold and the silver.
Mm-hmm.
As we've learned more about Albania, and we've learned a whole lot over the past 5 years, we realized it was a governmental system in place that precluded knowledge on silver and gold. Silver was not assayed for, so it wasn't tested for. Gold was very sporadically assayed for and kept a state secret as to the values. And we were amazed with the precious metal content of the hole. As to the excitement, the feeling around that hole, it's interesting because we were excited, we were enthused, we were beside ourselves.
I would say so.
And it was a great feeling. At the same time, there was a lot of mystery. Did we drill an area that just happened to have this high precious metal content? We wouldn't see it again. We hadn't heard that much about the gold and the silver up until that point, so had we just been lucky with one hole? Well, we've now drilled 4 different areas that were historical known areas of copper mineralization on the property.
Okay.
And in each of these 4 areas, we've encountered very significant gold and silver grade. So as the drilling continued and we started to intersect very high gold and silver content in other areas of the property, we got increasingly excited that we might just be onto something that is a district scale gold silver opportunity in addition to the copper. So it's one of these stories that it hasn't been one time, one whole wonder. It's been a story that over 4 years, 5 years has progressively, to us, gotten more and more exciting. Now we've announced plans to target fast track into copper and gold production, but in our view, the big upside is still going to come through the discovery of new bodies of mineralization. That's what we're targeting. That's the potential. Now, there's a lot of risk with exploration. We think we've de-risked the proposition somewhat through this plan to fast track into production, but that being said, what keeps us awake at night right now is the potential for discovery of new economic ore bodies.
Well, and I mean, I'm completely guessing here, but is it when you drill for copper, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to find precious metals as well?
No, absolutely not. You're right. This type of system, and here's something that you may or may not remember the next day if you're a listener, the type of system that we're chasing here is a volcanogenic massive sulfide. For short, people call these systems VMS. And these VMS systems are often referred to as the holy grail of the mineral industry because this type of geological setting has the potential to contain multiple metals within the same deposits. VMS deposits account for some of the most famous mining districts in the world. Noranda here in Canada is a VMS district. Flin Flon in Manitoba, VMS. VMS, Eskay Creek, for those of you that follow things a little bit more closely. These are all VMS deposits, and they're famous deposits. They're formed some of the most valuable aggregates of metal in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So when you drill in most parts of the world or in most settings for copper, you don't necessarily come up with gold, silver, but in these VMS settings you can.
And is it as rare as it sounds?
Any economic discovery of an ore body is rare.
Okay.
There are companies all over the world chasing economic discoveries, and they're rare, and that's part of the risk of the mining business. However, the counterpoint to that is that the rarity is really what gives everybody the big blue sky. And I think that any investment advisor that's worth their weight in salt will tell their clients that with increasing reward potential comes increasing level of risk. So
that's investing 101.
It is, and if you're investing in something that has big blue sky, it likely also has a whole lot of risk, and this sector definitely has a lot of risk.
So it's one of those things where you got to hold on tight. It could be a rough ride, but that's a decision that we all have to make independently.
Well, that's right, and I think that when choosing a mining investment, you have to look at the share structure, the management team's track record, the property itself, and what type of shot does the team have at making a world-class discovery within this company, within this vehicle, and are they good managers so that if they do create real wealth in the ground, can they get maximum benefit for shareholders? And with increased reward comes increased risk.
So level with me. When you guys actually found out that you had hit the gold and the silver with the copper, champagne, high fives.
There was a lot of that, and there was a lot of that when we pulled that first hole, and a lot of that when we drilled subsequent holes. We actually announced that first hole when we were in Toronto at the world's largest mining conference. It's called the Prospectors and Developers Conference, and it was a fun time. And I think that since we've announced that first hole and since we've worked now in multiple areas of the property over the past 4 to 5 years, we've gained a really good following and a good shareholder base that includes a whole lot of geologists and engineers. And I think what everybody's most excited about is what's next. We've shown this is a big mineralized system. We've shown that the system contains gold, silver, copper, zinc, and over the next 12 months, we hope to have a new discovery. Only the drill bit will tell us if that's the case, but I think that we're going to expose everybody to the potential of a big discovery here over the next 12 months.
Now, you had mentioned in a previous show that that piece of land in the Merdita district, it started out and expanded, it retracted in terms of where you were actually focusing those drills. Has the drilling that you've done, has that determined the size of the land that you're basically going to be going into exploration with?
Sure. So when we initially acquired this district, we acquired a land package, 344 square kilometers, 17 known deposits, 9 of which were former producing mines. But our goal wasn't just to move those existing deposits towards production. Our goal was to do that, but at the same time conduct the first ever large-scale, regional, modern, systematic exploration of this district. See what else is lurking out there, because our view was, with the most rudimentary and outdated technologies imaginable, and with a lack of modern geological interpretation because of the isolation in this country, that even with all of that, the Albanian state-run programs found these 17 deposits. Our geological thesis was, within this setting, there can be a whole lot more. Now, that process to explore for world-class deposits, it doesn't happen overnight. We first flew the first ever airborne geophysical survey in the country's history. It's a starting point of mineral exploration. We then went in the areas, 100 prospective targets within the district, we went in and we started to ground proof the targets, take a look at the areas geologically, take a look at the areas with ground geophysics, with geochemical work. So this process is a process of refining and defining the drill targets. Over the past 4 years, we've done a lot of defining, refining, basic field work. And over the next 12 months, we're going to be drilling the targets that we think are the best, targets on the property, targeting new discovery. New discovery is what we think can take the company to a whole new level. At the same time, we've been quietly moving the known areas of mineralization towards production.
Okay.
And we recently announced plans to target a fast track into copper and gold production here over the coming months.
So finding those little nuggets, the VMS, you have actually redetermined what your plan of action is.
Exactly. So what we've done in the 4 areas of the property that we've drilled extensively, these are known areas of mineralization. We've gone in. What we've shown is that, yes, mineralization does exist here as the Albanians indicated it would. We then, through our drilling, also have proven that there's significant gold, silver, zinc content in addition to the copper that the Albanians had discovered, and we've worked to advance those areas into production. Those are known areas. Concurrent with that, we've been conducting pure exploration, targeting discovery, and that's really where we think the biggest blue sky exists.
Fantastic. For more information, go to trexresources.com and follow them on Twitter, Tirex Resources. And on the website, you can find a lot of information about this company, but also there's an entire tab dedicated to gold. All your news releases are very easy to follow there. And again, Albania, you're in the Northern District.
We're up north in Albania. Albania is a small population, 3.5 million people. Most people in Albania live in the south or around the capital city. The north is very remote, isolated, small population. It's logistically easy to get to due to the completion of a 4-lane highway here that's happened over the past 12 months. But it's a remote, poor area, and this is an area that's really looking towards natural resource development in order to create an economic base for the people.
And Tirex is a first mover there. So follow them again on Twitter, Tirex Resources, or go to their website, trexresources.com. If you want to email them directly, the best course of action is info@trexresources.com. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come and talk to Bryan a little bit more about the lifespan of a mining company. We'll be right back.
Do you have a question for Shannon? Go online to shannonpearson.ca to strike up a conversation. This is It's About Business with Shannon Pearson, where business owners share their success stories. There's a lot more still ahead on AM650.